101.9 is on now.
Good morning, St. Vincent and GHS Sports. That's why you have to call St. Vincent and the Grenadines now, because everywhere you turn is GHS Sports. No matter where you go, it's GHS Sports. You go online,
Yeah, you're sounding a little jealous.
GHS Sports. I ain't jealous. I'm not jealous, but everywhere you turn is GHS Sports. So good morning, St. Vincent and GHS Sports. The time is now 7:16. You're listening to myself and with me via streaming, thanks to COVID, is Christal. Good morning, Christal.
Good morning, Ari. How are you this morning? And
I
don't
am
be
doing
a bitter
a lot.
Betty
It's
this
Friday.
morning, okay?
What's that?
Bitter Betty, okay?
Oh, I didn't get the
Why
first
you
one.
mad, bro?
Listen, I need to. You see that meme I sent to you last night. What was the name of the girl again? Johnny Brown.
Janelle
Johnny
Brown.
Brown made. That needs to be everywhere. You see the same how headmistress stuff everywhere. That needs to be everywhere. Because we don't need Muffet House. We don't need anything from Muffet House. We don't need to hear anything from Muffet House. Just lower your tone. See, just like that, you already start practicing. Well, how are you this morning, Crystal? Okay, seem to be having a bit of technical difficulties with Crystal there, but I'll start this morning's discussion, which is
Yeah,
CDC
go ahead. Sorry
has
about that.
gone to, okay, and she's back. So how are you this morning, Crystal?
Boy. Oh, good. Anyways, I
Boy,
gotta tell you at the end, eh?
no good story starts, boy.
With the oh good.
Well, yes.
Okay.
So CDC has released a press release detailing their plans in Trinidad Carnival. And yes, they have gone back to TNT Carnival to promote Vincimas 2024. So the press release can be found on different news sites, but I am reading from One News St. Vincent, where it says Carnival Development CDC says it has embarked on a series of marketing and promotional activities in Trinidad during the peak period of Trinidad Carnival celebrations of 2024. This statement, Trinidad Carnival culminates on February 13th, so that's next Tuesday. And Vincimas is the name of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Carnival, as we all know. So in a press release issued February 7th, CDC said Esworth Ezzy Roberts, marketing coordinator, Mr. Rodney Small, president of the Yulu Pan movement, are the two main persons that are representing the CDC in promoting Vincimas during Trinidad's 2024 Carnival. The press release went on to say to kickstart the campaign, an interview will be done on Breaking Dawn morning program on Friday, February 9th. Other interviews will be done on various radio and television stations. Vincimas booth will be in operation at the Brunch and Soca event, where Vincimas branded paraphernalia, okay, said it right, would be distributed and set up at the venue. You know, sometimes this is something, but you're hearing it back and it sounds wrong. That's what just happened. But this event will be hosted for the second time in Trinidad and is scheduled to take place on Sunday, February 11th at, yes, I'm not going to try to pronounce that word. CDC will,
Aripetia?
excuse me?
Is it Aripetia?
No, Shagaramas.
Shagaramas.
Okay. CDC would like to take this opportunity to extend gratitude to Hofer Marketing Group for allowing us to promote Vincimas at their brand event. Vincimas will also be promoted during Carnival Monday and Tuesday celebrations in Trinidad. So on Carnival Monday and Tuesday, Vincimas branded cabana will be erected outside Synergy TV's compound on Arapita Avenue and in the area popularly known as the Synergy Stage. LED screens would also be in place to promote Vincimas, and interviews would be done and broadcasted live on their television station. Person who visit the cabana would also be given Vincimas. Okay, we already went through that. They'll be able to scan and use a Vincimas QR code, which is Crystal. All in all, it's the same thing they did last year that they're doing again this year in Trinidad. regardless of the feedback that they got, regardless of being told that this is not enough, I really have to wonder if the CDC sat down and did a SWOT analysis, if they thought about their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, the threats. I wonder if they looked into the market, looked into what exactly is popular in Trinidad, how can Vincimas appeal to Trinidadians and the tons of foreigners that usually travel to Trinidad Carnival. What are the big events? A shout out to Hova. Brunch and Soca is doing incredible things, but Brunch and Soca is not one of the biggest events in Trinidad. There are
But it's the foot in.
huge, and it's the same thing that they did last year, and I would like to believe, right? For instance, last year, Bayesian, I don't want to be quoted wrong. I don't know if it's a mass ban or if it was a party. They came to St. Vincent to promote Crop Over. They were at, what's that party that replaced Wetfet? With Karen, Skinny, Amjine. They did it again in Christmas.
Wet Republic?
Wet Republic. They were at Wet Republic. They had a structure at Wet Republic. They had samples of Bayesian rum there. They had their paraphernalia. They had cups. They had, I think, bandanas. At other events, they had cabanas. I remember at Sunrise, they had a cabana at Sunrise where they had a backdrop where they had all sorts of marketing, branding tools to display their product. They were also on the road Monday and Tuesday. What we're seeing here from CDC is traditional and dated marketing styles. And I'm not saying that it cannot be used. That's sticking up in, yeah.
No, go ahead. Not saying it cannot be used.
Yeah, not saying it cannot be used, but they have to show more effort and more what's the word? Initiative in their marketing plans going forward in 2024. What I'm reading here is marketing styles from 6, 8. Come on, these are very, very vintage marketing scanning QR codes that would. I'm standing in front of our Synergy stage where we'll be doing interviews. Persons also spoke about this morning program. What was it? Breaking Dawn. Breaking Dawn has a specific demographic. They did mention that they're going to interview at other stations, but I would prefer to hear what the programs that they will be interviewing on are. I'm interested to hear how they will be reaching out to influencers. I'm interested to hear how exactly they plan on doing their branding outside of being in front of Synergy TV.
Okay. Now, they have said quite a lot in this release here, right? So they mentioned Vincimas, branded Cabana, Synergy, they're going to be at an event. When you're talking about the entity from Barbados, the only difference that you made mention of, the only difference that's striking to me is where they went. Because they had the same cabana, they had the same backdrop, they had the same paraphernalia. It was pretty much the same thing. And what Vincimas is doing is the same thing, but maybe they're not going to the best of places. Now, I can't tell unless I go south. And I've never gone to Trinidad Carnival. So I don't know where to go, where not to go, and what events are the biggest ones. But I mean, there has to be like some reason why. Maybe it is that they were only able to get into XYZ events because they have a link here, there, and everywhere. Maybe they can't get into the other events because they have restrictions. Are other events welcoming like Barbados and Grenada and like Antigua and St. Kitts to have the same sort of setup that was allowed for Barbados, St. Vincent and Grenadines?
When Grenada came, no, you're making sense. When Grenada came, I think the first thing they did was hold a press conference, and I think they conducted a few interviews, and I don't exactly remember what exactly was their marketing plan, but I remember it was a lot better than what I saw happening in Trinidad. And I would like to believe with Grenada coming and Barbados coming and the fact that we're always in Trinidad, it seems, or at least we've been in Trinidad for the past 2 years. I would like to believe that we're networking, that we're making friends, that we're connecting, and that Vincy Mass and Spice Mass and these neighboring carnivals will be developing a relationship to promote each other. Now, this is me. This is me coming from taking a number of marketing and advertising courses. And what I'm seeing is minimal effort. It's basic marketing. And
Minimal effort for maximum benefit. Hi.
but I expect to see more, and I'm not seeing the more.
What is their budget? That's another thing too. What is the budget?
Well, there's a good question. What is the budget? But then if you release in a press release, making it seem like you're doing work, then
Making it seem the people are doing work, so they go down there like statue.
Christal,
I'm
if
gonna
I
say they're
come,
making it
I
seem.
come in this morning, right, and I play music for most of the morning, and then have 5 and 10 minutes talking segments, I doing work?
Yes, you are doing work. Substandard. But you're doing work.
All right, that's what I
The
wanted
quality.
to say. The quality
No,
of
no,
the
no,
work
because
being done.
making it seem like you're doing work and doing work that is poor, average, good, great, excellent. I mean, two different things. Two different set of things.
All right, so somebody on the
Pretending
line
to do work.
that it seems like that I think CDC is a bunch of silly people. Some friends saw them last year, and 3 of them came home with me to visit. Came home with me last year. Give them a bit more credit. Maybe you should join the group. Now, is it that the pamphlet made such a big difference that they came to Vincy Mass, or is it because they know you? They saw it there, which is a part of the branding, and said, "Hey, is this your country? We'd like to visit your country."
But what initiated the conversation?
I would like them on the live to tell me what initiated the conversation. And actually, we're not talking to ourselves. The number to call is 457-9997. Also, the number to WhatsApp, 457-9997. And we're live on YouTube and Facebook. I am not saying that we will not reap any benefits from what they're doing. I am saying that the marketing techniques that they're using is dated and it's substandard, and I really expected more from them. But I thought Karen was going to be the new marketing person. I'm a little confused now because you really described Ezra Roberts as marketing coordinator.
Yeah, so I went to the previous release that because I was also confused by that. Karen brings tremendous experience as an event host, so on, the state owned. I'm trying to go down to where it says what she is. Oh no, that was not in the release. That was a document. You remember that? That was the
document.
The document. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder what opposition
so I'm not
is.
sure. Maybe it's two different things, because remember there's admin and there's the board. So it could be that he is part of admin and not on the board of CDC. I'm not sure. I'm not too certain.
All I'm saying is, I would like to see more modern marketing techniques applied, both when we leave St. Vincent to promote Vincy Mass and during Vincy Mass, the promotion of Vincy Mass. I want to see more influencers being approached. Last year, we saw a number of influencers come. What they put out was beautiful. We saw videos coming from Wet Republic, Brunch of Soca. We saw from Juve. We saw Monday, Tuesday band. What was the name of the couple? The Trini Vincentian guy and his
Kuma,
I think it's Trini,
Kuma Zuma.
Fet Travelers.
Fet Travelers, yeah.
We saw them. What packages are being offered to them so that they would come back? What are being offered to our current influencers here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? People with more than 100,000 followers. There are a lot of bright minds here, and people have a lot of ideas. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What like there are so many things that are outside the CDC's control. And I know that they teamed up with influencers. For example, Passport Traveler. I believe that he was working with the CDC
You
last
sure about
year.
that?
Passport Traveler?
Yeah, because from what I looked at, Passport Travelers Instagram, it seems like they don't necessarily travel for carnival. They travel for the sake of traveling and promoting other countries. Maybe not CDC is the person who liaises with them. Maybe it is Tourism Authority or Ministry of Tourism. And I
Personally, I
did
spoke to
speak to the
somebody
guy,
within
and it
CDC.
slipped my mind to ask him if anyone had reached out from the ministry or the CDC. I really should have asked, but if they come back this year, I definitely will ask.
A little Instagram message would work. Um, Sometimes I wonder, like, what more and what different would you do if you were in the position? Looking at the resources that you have, what would you do differently that the CDC is doing now? Because there are lots of people who are critical, but when they put them in the shoes, they can't do nothing
Well,
about it.
remember, I started by saying we would sit down, understand the market, do a SWOT analysis, see what exactly does Convincimas have to offer to
Oh,
foreigners and
because
Vincentians alike, and then use modern marketing techniques to draw in these people. For the one example is the foreign and local influencers. That's just a start. But I don't give out marketing advice for free. So I just putting that out there.
yeah, but sometimes like from these arguments, I get people. I get the impression that people think that CDC is so incapable and incompetent.
I don't think
Um,
my honest opinion is I don't think CDC is as a board is incompetent. I think that there are a lot of people on the board are involved that are not necessarily experienced or don't bring any ideas that would be majorly beneficial. And I do
Yeah,
believe that
but our arguments do not pinpoint individual people. Our arguments are always against the CDC.
my argument isn't against a CDC as a board, but I just don't want to single out the people.
Right. So right now, because you are not singling out anybody, you are basing your argument on CDC. So the impression I'm getting is CDC is
And I
incapable
corrected
of doing a proper job.
I corrected your impression.
Well,
There's
then
so many
call him,
people there. I ain't calling
call
nobody.
him,
You pay my
because the listeners are going to say that the target is CDC.
you pay my
Call
lawyer. You
name or
pay
call
my lawyer.
department. And
You ain't calling
furthermore, right?
nobody there.
Furthermore, if everybody in St. Vincent and the Grenadines does not like the work that CDC is doing, the marketing of CDC, right? Whichever, don't matter because it all boils down to the average Vincentian, then it further lends itself to saying that the CDC is still incapable because they are not doing, for example, as you said, the SWOT analysis. They are not saying, okay, this person is not doing a very good job. Let's get rid of them. Let's give them the tools and resources. Let's give them a little bit more money. It has to be something a bit more.
I don't think you
Either
need
that
to
we are
get
not
rid of
privy
people
to,
altogether. But I
huh?
do think that you should accept consultations from people who are experienced in the field.
Right. But for an entity as CDC that I think is very important to the nation, listening to the feedback from people, there has to be something a little bit more. Either we're all wrong or they're being allowed to just do whatever they feel like.
Well, maybe.
And then who's responsible? Who's responsible for ensuring that the CDC performs at maximum capacity or maximum capabilities?
Maybe at the
Who?
next press conference, we need to go and ask these questions, because even at the press conference, the questions seem to be a little light. Because as much as people complain, they don't really zero in on what exactly is their problem with CDC and what solutions they have. And when I say people, I don't mean the everyday Vincentians. I mean persons who are able to bring these questions to the forefront, like me and you.
Another
But
point, right?
we
What I found, I know we have
will
to
have
go.
to stick up in here, Christal. It's 7:35 and it's
Oh,
time for traffic talk. So what we'll do is we keep the live running and we'll come right back.
all right.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
This is WEFM'S Traffic Talk, Monday to Friday, 7:35 a.m. in association with the traffic branch of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force.
The time is now 7:36 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's time for Traffic Talk.
And dial again.
This morning, joining us is
for operator assistance.
yeah,
Thank you.
This
From
morning,
Flow.
joining us
Service
is
message 25.
this morning joining us is PC 1044 Jackson. So please bear with us as we connect to PC Jackson this morning. Good morning, PC Jackson. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to people of St. Vincent and Grenadines. For listening to the sound of my voice, I am PC 1044 Jackson from the Traffic Department. I am currently standing along Granby Street. I have the advantage of seeing the traffic flowing freely without any obstruction towards the street, and also the traffic from Granby Street is flowing towards Richmond Hill Road without any obstruction also. I have been informed that there are no obstructions from the Leeward Highway, neither from the Windward Highway, and the traffic is flowing freely out of the Mesopotamia Valley onto Vigi Highway. There have been two motor vehicle accidents reported to the police for the past 24 hours. No person sustained any injuries and slight damage to the vehicle. My tip for it this morning is that the traffic department have received several reports from the traveling public as it pertains to conductors and drivers who are in the habit, especially on Fridays, of consuming alcoholic beverages, and as a result of the consumption of alcohol, their behaviors on the omnibus is unbecoming. According to the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, it states, he shall not be under the influence of drink or drugs while serving as a conductor of such vehicle. Any person who, when driving or attempting to drive, or when in charge of a motor vehicle on a road, is under the influence of drink or a drug to such an extent as to be incapable of having proper control of the vehicle, is guilty of an offense and liable to a fine of $1,500 and to imprisonment for 6 months. So we at the department are sending a strong message to those drivers and conductors who know that they are guilty of such an act to desist from doing so, because we at the traffic branch have zero tolerance for this action and will not condone such actions and behaviors from omnibus drivers and conductors, and will be clamping down on such practices, as it is a very dangerous practice which can cause some very serious and dangerous implications, and once caught, they will be prosecuted in accordance to the law. I also want to wish everyone a productive day, and remember to drive with caution and remain vigilant when driving on the road. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us this morning, PC Jackson, and do have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you.
That has been your Traffic Talk for today, Friday, February 9th, 2024.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. And if by chance you find a better price, no stress. Just talk to the General, and they will beat that price plus give you special priority delivery. Yes, General Hardware offers free island-wide delivery on most purchases. so you never have to worry about getting your goods on site on time. Plus, shopping at General Hardware is a pleasant experience with friendly, knowledgeable staff always ready to serve. What more could you wish for, huh? So come to General Hardware for proper service, lowest prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
Did you know? Have you used them? Vertis, Medushi, Lilies. These are among the best bathroom tissue products available any place. Excellent quality, larger sheet sizes, and more sheets per roll. Check them out and compare with others. And guess what? Guess what? These are produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tell you, Vinci's have class. Yes, real class as always. Let's keep our standards high. Buy Vertis, Medushi, and Lilies. Made by St. Vincent Containers.
Boy, that's where you getting crashing on. Your brakes real good, boy.
Now brakes alone good enough. My tires good too.
Tires? Where you get them tires, boy?
Out by Caribbean Tire Plus, man. They out in Addersville. Can't miss it. Look for the orange container on them. Plenty parking space and open 7 days a week all thing, man. Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call them today. Caribbean Tire Plus, 784-432-4786 or email ctiresplus@gmail.com.
Sparrows, rum of pure sophistication. Sparrows, rum, aged to perfection. Skillfully crafted and forged with time in oak barrels. A rum so divine. Discover authentic Caribbean rum. Sparrows, premium rum. Sparrows, full-bodied rum. Sparrows, pure sophistication. Discover authentic Vincentian rum. Sparrows, premium rum.
Distilled and blended by St. Vincent Distillers Limited. Please drink responsibly.
Agents, Careers, Distributions Limited.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time is 7:44 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're back with Activated Mornings this morning. You're listening to Ari, and of course, joining me virtually is Christal this morning. If you're just joining us, we're discussing CDC's marketing techniques going into Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival, which should come to an end next Tuesday. Christal, you were making a point before we went to break. What was the point? Okay, Christal.
Wait, sorry. No, the mic. The mic. I didn't turn on the mic. Sorry, I said I don't forget the point of thing. But what was the last thing that we were talking about?
Well, you were saying that when persons give their critique, it comes off as if the entire board is failing because they do not pinpoint areas or persons that they believe are lacking on the board. And I think you also mentioned that there often aren't solutions, but I disagree with that. I do think there are solutions. There are a number of persons who give feedback, and it's if the feedback is listened to. Because I know Hova, who does brunch and soca, did give some feedback on the way things are being done, and it seems like now they formed a relationship with him. But I don't know if they have taken a lot of what he's been saying into consideration. I don't know that for a fact.
Well, that's a plus still. That's a plus.
Yeah, it is a plus for them
Um,
to be promoting Vincy Mas at brunch and soca.
I just had the point then, straight to answer. That's a plus and the point gone. But let
It'll
me
come back.
ask
It'll
this.
come back.
Yeah, it'll come back. But I really wanted to come back before I ask this question. But anyways, um, from a marketing perspective, how do you know when a marketing strategy has been successful?
The reach and impact. Eventually, you'll be able to check the budget and see the returns on your marketing campaign. But it depends on what it is you're doing. So, like for instance, Vincy Mas, you could start a campaign from now up until June, but you probably won't know the financial benefit to it until maybe August, September, when you get the final budget. What is being spent, what benefit had it, like what changed in the marketing without the marketing campaign, what changed. So what was the result last year, and then now you added the marketing campaign, the comparison to both years, and the income, if
Okay,
that makes
so
sense.
let us streamline into CDC's campaign in Trinidad. What would we use to measure the success?
No, I say reach and impact. Someone else
How
said
do you
on there,
measure
and
reach?
how many
How
persons
do
are
you?
talking about Vincy Mas? Is it trending? Is it in the discussions on socials? Is it hashtagged? Has it been reposted? And these metrics are easy now with Meta being in control of Facebook, Instagram, and I think WhatsApp. So you can go to Meta easily and check to see these the amount of reach and impact that a specific topic has. Also, there's Google Analytics that shows you,
Right.
are people talking about this topic? Are people purchasing anything? Are people and CDC also has a metric that they use where they show how much money was spent on private shows, how much money was spent on their shows, how much money was spent in Carnival altogether. Because I do think that they announced that last year and year before.
Okay. I think most of the things that you mentioned were for digital media, metrics, Google Analytics, hashtags, people talking
Mhm.
about it on social media. But for people who are just like talking to their friends and family, like on the ground, I think it is a bit difficult um, to ascertain the final impact. We could easily get the impact from a social media campaign, right? Because Meta would give us the insights online. I mean, that's pretty easy. Yes, the point that it came back, thank God. What I did not see in the release, I think you alluded to it as well, was do they have sponsored posts that's specific for the Trinidad market? So when Trinis go on Instagram, they see in Vinci Mass pop up using appropriate hashtags and what's not. I looked on their Instagram page to see if, like there was something specific for Trinidad, and I wasn't able to like read the caption because I'm using a laptop. So I'm not too sure if they have already like updated and said, okay, we're going to be in Trinidad, what's not. This is how things are going. So maybe the absence or the inability for them to say, unless they look at visitor arrivals, these
Mhm.
are the people that are coming from Trinidad specifically, unless they do like surveys for foreigners who come into the country during a period of time. How did you know about us? Where did you hear? Blah, blah, blah. What do you use?
Focus
Unless
groups
they
as
have
well.
all of that.
I was fighting to remember that. Focus groups.
Right. Right. So unless like they have all of that and maybe they share it with us, I don't know if they want to do that. Then for me, it's like, okay, on the ground, people are receptive. So let's go with that because people seem excited on the ground. Maybe that's what part of what they're using to repeatedly go down to Trinidad. There was a time, and I find this conversation funny because there was a time when people used to say, well, they're going to Trinidad for, I should just stay home. But now it's, that was a bigger
That's
argument.
interesting.
Y'all should
That's
not be going to
interesting.
Trinidad.
That's
But now the
interesting.
argument, is, y'all should go to Trinidad now, but do this XYZ. I find it funny. The turnaround.
But that's usually how things are. Definitely would not have been part of the you should not go to Trinidad. You should go to all as much as possible. Different carnivals and different activities to promote Vincima. If they're in St. Lucia this month for Lucian Independence, if they're at Jazz Fest for Lucia, how can you be mad at that? That is how you touch different markets. That is how you reach a different demographic. That is how you promote your brand. Vincimas in itself is a brand, and we need to push it more because Trinidad is clearly doing something right. Barbados is clearly doing something right. Even Jamaica Carnival, which is like I don't think Jamaica Carnival is real carnival, but they have support. There are people turning up. People are showing up and showing out for Jamaica Carnival. I do not think that crop over and Trinidad Carnival, besides Trinidad being the Mecca, I don't think that they offer a better product than we do. Persons always complain about the price and what is being offered to them in these mass bands, in these costume bands on the road Trinidad. And I think on Monday too, they complain about those as well, as compared to Vincimas, where we receive meals, quality drinks, proper costumes, the service is better. And we have a call, Christal. I'll take this call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my brother and sister. Yeah, I just wanted to say something short, but I'm going to stay long. Just to tell you that, one of the things I've been looking at the carnival, looking at Rio de Janeiro, seeing the very difficult they have. We got to really understand the situations we are in. People must be allowed to be able to have a little income. That income empowerment that we have 104,000 people. And when we empower our population, we could be part of anything. Because you have to understand that our obligation, very first obligation, is to make sure we have monies to eat, to survive, to pay your bills, to pay your light bill, to have your internet, to go to the doctor, to go to the dentist. And then we could take part in other activities. And I'm only saying, I'm begging for common sense. Let us empower people. Make sure they have extra. I could tell you what used to happen before. I used to go, carnival with my mother. We used to go and look at the mass down at the Victoria Park. It used to be a very exciting time for us as young people growing up. We got to be able to, and I beg in the, when you talk, everybody feel you're against guns, you're against politicians. Let our country strive. Let people have extra dollars so they could, put a little side to pay a little, they want to play mass and so on. When you put us in this position where a person working for $1,000, $600 is food because you're overtaxing us. And I'm only saying, hey, when you look at Brazil carnival has gone to dogs because of the very incompetence of these dictatorships that has put them in this state where they can't even sustain even the very football. And I am begging for common sense because you might be able to play it, Christal might be able to play it, a few people might be able, but you want as much of the people here to be taking part in a very cultural activity. I'm not talking about vulgarity. There's good things we could do for carnival. And I'm begging Mr. Gonsalves, not with any politics. You need to get our economy back on stream, our agriculture. You need to get our young people. I mean, you need to understand that when you do that, you're literally bringing back the culture. And I hope that you all understand why we are going to be in a doldrum. People literally, just young people, put in the very life on the line to take the last little $1,000 of borrow And then when the time comes, they like mail and everything cut off and they can't send the children to school. It shouldn't be. And that is what the other countries have over us. And this is why Hammy is on this radio program. Not here for the politics. We don't do no party. I love you all. You're doing a good job.
All right.
But also encourage people from all cross section to call you and talk to them and hear what they're saying, not just one side.
Okay.
We love you all very much. Have yourself a safe weekend.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Christal.
So I hope for Vincy Mas that Mr. Hammy could like go to Sokomanak and Calypso Monarch so he could contribute to the well-being of all the creatives and everybody else, the stakeholders. You understand?
So we have
So
some
money.
contribution from socials here. Someone said reach and impact compared to the last event. Social media data from your social media dashboard panel. Same thing I was saying. How many people attend your event this year compared to last year? Tickets, head count, vendors, increase, decrease, etc. And all of these things would be in your analysis.
Right.
But I always wonder, how deep does our analysis go if we even have one outside of basic? Well, I know CDC does provide certain numbers, so they do have these analysis, but I'm not seeing a difference in the marketing, specifically the marketing. Someone says, Ari, not because someone is successful at marketing events means you can market carnival. Totally different beast. Reach cannot be the metric. It must be turnout. Reach always has to be part of the metric in marketing. It is always reach and impact. Always. How many people are
But it's not the only thing.
It's not the only thing. And that's why I didn't say only reach. The reach and impact. And impact covers turnout, tickets purchased, vendors, were they successful, the relationship between CDC and promoters, because I think promoters are usually taxed, or they should give up a percentage of their earnings. Don't quote me exactly on that, because that's me talking off the top of my head. I can't.
The government makes money. They have to pay. They have to pay.
Yeah, I know they have to pay, but I
on
don't remember
ticket sales.
exactly what it is. It's ticket sales?
Inland revenue, I believe, is who? Is it a VAT or inland revenue? But they pay something.
Someone says,
They pay
good
up something.
morning. One thing I know when it comes to carnival, Vincentians always find money to party. They don't skim on that. But we have
The
to.
other thing too.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, the other thing too, right? Imagine Vincy Mas, CDC going to Trinidad and what's not to market carnival. They initiate the interest in Vincy Mas, but then the people who come, they only go to private events.
But I do think, right? Because there's always the argument that CDC shows are dying and private events are at the forefront. I do believe that, and this is my opinion, the brunch, well, I don't want to say tradition, culture, the brunch culture that is creeping into carnivals across the region is killing traditional events. Look, this year we had AM going until probably 10, 11 p.m. A lot of persons who were at AM never showed up to the Monday Jam. I don't think things like that should happen, period. But I also do think the onus is on CDC now to improve the traditional events. Not saying change the tradition, but make it more appealing to foreigners and the persons attending these events over the private events. Or at least collaborate in some way, shape, or form with some of these private events.
You are comparing a luxury style event to something else that's not so luxurious.
But it can be.
People want to. What's so luxurious about Monday Jam?
Was it what attracts
Monday
you?
Jam is more.
You don't go to Monday Jam.
I would go to Monday Jam for the cultural aspect, right? What appeals to me for carnival and entertainment? Two things: soca music and live bands. Live bands and certain artists. You understand? So you will very seldom find me in an all-inclusive event. Like off the top of my head, I can't even tell you.
Yeah, but
I probably have never gone.
you in the minority, and that someone asks how can Monday Jam be luxurious. You know, I think it's in St. Vincent also, but in different countries there are VIP sections. There are different packages being offered to persons, and they do section off the Monday Jam to an extent. It can
And
be
people would
can
still,
be
people
made.
still,
Hmm?
and people still don't turn up because they prefer to go to an all-inclusive event in the morning, and they're too tired to come to town in the
I will
afternoon.
tell you, I will tell you. As someone doing events, you cannot blame people for not showing up to your event. You could only blame your marketing and how you are
Not
able to put
necessarily.
your product out there. How could I say, okay, I put out an event and people didn't show up? Is it people's fault for not showing up?
Not necessarily. Some people just
Okay,
don't want the
but
product.
you cannot blame the people if they don't want the product. Yours, it's your job to make the product appealing.
Okay, so it goes both ways, right? You do the best that you can to make the product appealing. But if the base product, they don't want it, it's not appealing to them, no matter how much you package it, they just don't want it because they prefer to go to X, Y, or Z. Many of the privately promoted shows, they offer something different to what CDC and the traditional carnival shows are offering. And there's, I think, for the traditional elements of carnival, because there's a cultural aspect of it, there is only so much, and this is just my opinion, there's only so much that you can tweak and change and modernize without losing the cultural meaning of the event, the tradition, the XYZ. I think sometimes to people, and I don't think any of us are wrong with what we're saying, but I think sometimes people give up because they feel as though the modernization of carnival is winning over the tradition. So they don't try anything. They don't try to think outside the box. They don't try anything new. Blah, 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 you know?
People complain
But
about
802.
Party mass versus traditional mass all the time. But I do think that when it is that someone introduces something new to the market, it is then your job to try to compete with it because you have to. It's there now. Unless there's some sort of something going on behind the doors and behind closed doors and you want to try to remove it. Outside of that, if the product is there, it is now your competitor and you have to compete. You have to find a way to compete. But you're right. It is 8:03 now, and your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life,